Chapter 1. You are listening at fametv.info. Translator. Henyi Translations Editor. Henyi Translations, Lin Shuang. Lin Shuang. In a daze, Lin Shuang heard someone calling him. He opened his eyes slightly, and the blinding light made him unable to open them. In the light and shadow stood a fat figure pulling his pants. Shuang, don't King sleep. Have you forgotten that today is the day the server opens for Glory? Our Tiger Studio can't be left behind. The figure complained and turned to leave. Before he left, he tugged at Lin Shuang. Lin Shuang rubbed his forehead and sat up. His vision gradually became clear. A small room that was only 2 to 3 square meters was messy. Clothes and trash were thrown everywhere. The window was open, and he could see the residential building and the clear sky opposite. Lin Shuang was very familiar with this place. After he graduated, he rented a room with his childhood friend, Fatty Tang. He had lived here for 3 years. The first thing he saw when he woke up every day was the residential building opposite. But why was he here? Wasn't he dead? Lin Shuang was puzzled. Who would have thought that a virtual online game that appeared out of nowhere would bring destruction to the world? Glory was known as the highest crystallization of scientific research development in the 21st century. It was the work of the century jointly developed by the United Nations and more than 100 countries. The game was made with the latest virtual technology and was infinitely close to reality. More importantly, the game also supported a 1.2.1 cash exchange. As soon as the game was released, it immediately attracted countless people from all over the world. As the game gradually progressed, people were pleasantly surprised to discover that not only could they earn money in the game, but they could even materialize their abilities in the game into reality. For a time, Glory became the starting point for countless people to change their fate. However, no one knew that all of this was actually a huge conspiracy. When the prehistoric beasts that only existed in the virtual world appeared in the real world, humans seemed so small and powerless. In the sky with black clouds pressing down, countless figures emitting dazzling golden light were like gods descending to the mortal world. However, they slaughtered humans coldly and mercilessly. The apocalyptic scene was filled with broken limbs. People panicked and fled in all directions, powerless to resist. Lin Shuang was not spared from that massacre. Am I reborn? Lin Shuang patted his head. He had yet to recover from the purgatory. Fatty's shout came from outside the room. Shuang! It's time to eat. Hurry up, Glory is about to open. We have to stay up all night tonight. How can we not eat our fill? Coming. Lin Shuang agreed, quickly put on his clothes, and walked out of the room. There was a small table in the small living room. Get the bowls and chopsticks. Fatty carried the steaming food and placed it on the table, his face filled with joy. Fatty, you're saying that today is the day Glory is released? Lin Shuang asked. Fatty widened his eyes and looked at Lin Shuang. Have you gone stupid from sleeping? It's today. September 1st, 2022. That's right. 2022. September 1st, Lin Shuang muttered with a shocked expression. He had really been reborn on the day Glory was released. I say, what's wrong with you today? Why are you so distracted? Lin Shuang woke up from his shock and hurriedly said, Oh. I'm fine. Perhaps I slept a little too soundly. I haven't recovered. Cheer up. Fatty patted Lin Shuang's shoulder and said, Our Tiger Studio has just been established. We have to make a name for ourselves. The Tiger Studio. Lin Shuang fell into his memories. At that time, Fatty and Lin Shuang had just graduated. They were still working overtime every day. After Glory came out, under Fatty's instigation, Lin Shuang quit his job and set up a studio with Fatty. He plunged into the popular Glory. Over the years, the two of them had indeed made a name for themselves in the game, gaining both fame and fortune. However, who would have thought that at their most glorious time, the disaster would come so suddenly? Now, he was actually reborn again, on the day Glory was opened. Calculating the time, the game opened in 2022, and the apocalypse was in 2027.5 years, there were still 5 years left. If this continued, the disaster would repeat itself 5 years later. What could he do? Stop the game from opening. At the thought of this, Lin Shuang laughed self-deprecatingly. This was obviously impossible. Would those hundreds or so countries stop just because he, Lin Shuang, said so? Was there really no other way? While Lin Shuang's mind was in chaos, Fatty had already cleaned up the dishes. He wiped his hands excitedly on his pants, his face filled with excitement. Let's go, Shuang. The game will start in half an hour. Hurry up and log in. Heavens, the game I've been waiting for a full year has finally started. Ha 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 ha. Money. Girls. I'm here. Fatty laughed wildly and threw a black helmet to Lin Shuang. This was Glory's gaming helmet. A large word was clearly printed on the helmet. Glory. No matter what, it was better to enter the game first. At the thought of this, Lin Shuang skillfully connected the game port and put on his helmet. In an instant, everything was pitch black. Immediately after, a screen of light slowly unfolded in front of him. The scene flashed and the surroundings were desolate. Lin Shuang had already appeared in the wilderness. System notification. Sorry, respected player. The game has yet to start. Please wait patiently for 29 minutes before entering the game. Please draw your talent first. Choosing talent. As a reborn person, Lin Shuang naturally knew the importance of talent. Once the talent was chosen, it would always accompany the player and could not be changed. There were also many types of talent. There were strength-type players, such as innate divine strength. Players with such talent had much higher attack power than ordinary players. Of course, there were also agility, defense, and spirit types. As the name suggested, they were all to increase the player's corresponding abilities. In the later stages, the effects of talent would become greater and greater, and it would also evolve into more different abilities. Of course, other than these more common talents, there were also some more hidden talents. In his previous life, Lin Shuang had met a player whose talent was charm. It could greatly increase the NPC's favorability. System notification. Talent extraction in progress. Please wait patiently. A colorful ball of light flashed in front of Lin Shuang, and his talent was about to be revealed. Lin Shuang watched expressionlessly. He clearly remembered that in his previous life, he had an agility-type talent. As far as he knew, talents were distributed by the system according to the player's physical condition. In other words, he was agile in his previous life, and so was this life. The ball of light gradually stopped and turned into a white light. This is, Lin Shuang was a little puzzled because he remembered that his agility talent was a purple light. System notification. Congratulations, you have obtained a luck talent. The white light turned thin and fused into Lin Shuang's body. At this moment, Lin Shuang could clearly see the information about his luck talent. Lucky Halo, passive talent. Unique effect increases the character's luck to a certain extent. This Lucky Halo. What was the use of increasing luck? Lin Shuang was stunned. Why wasn't this system playing by the rules? Wasn't his talent in swift footwork? It should be swift steps and agility talent. By activating his talent, it would increase his movement speed by 20%. In the later stages, it reached a terrifying 50%. It was precisely because of this talent that Lin Shuang chose the profession of an assassin in his previous life. However, the lucky halo that suddenly appeared completely disrupted Lin Shuang's plan. He put away the information board with mixed feelings. Perhaps it was because he was reborn and the system felt that he was full of luck, so it gave him a luck talent. This was the only explanation. After the talent selection was completed, it was time to choose a character. However, just as Lin Shuang was about to enter the character selection interface, the scene in front of him suddenly changed rapidly. In the empty hall, a few huge stone pillars stood. Blood filled the air and it was desolate. This was completely different from the character selection interface he had come into contact with before. Lin Shuang looked at the scene in front of him in shock. He remembered that the last time he chose his profession, it was a grassland wilderness with 8 different people standing in front of him. Those 8 people represented the 8 major professions of glory. Warrior, knight, assassin, archer, mage, priest, talisman master, and bard. What was going on with the current scene? In the center of the hall, a ball of red light slowly rose. In the light, a figure appeared. It was a man with an equal figure. He was wearing a red robe. Under the collar, he was handsome and his face was angular. His eyes were blood red and bottomless. There were 4 striking words above his head, Shabo the Azura. Listen to the full novel at fametv.info, direct link in the description.